Hello, viewers. Today, I want to share with you a presentation I made at the 2021 World Suul Conference. And this was the conference. The theme of the conference this year is Korean traditional alcoholic beverage, Suul, its meaning and role as intangible cultural heritage in the world. And I had my part in this was to show a hobbyist brewing Makgeolli. I described what I do, and and I'm sure they'll have a video of the conference available on YouTube at some point. But I wanted to share with you my presentation, so I'm going to redo my presentation and show it to you now. And if you have a chance, If you have a chance, I hope you get to see the other presentations. And when I find out where they are, I will link them in the description. But for now, you'll just have to listen to me talk about myself. So I'm going to get right into this. Just pretend you're at the conference, and I'm going to present right now. So this is my presentation. Okay. Well, I'm very glad to be here at the 2021 World Suul Conference, and what I'm going to show you today is why do I brew Makgeolli? That's the question. My name is Jeff Rubich, and I'm going to answer the question, why do I brew Makgeolli? So in some ways, this is going to be a terrible presentation. I'm going to be talking about myself almost the whole time. So please bear with me. But I am going to be talking about myself a lot. So the questions I want to answer today are, who am I? What have I brewed? Why did I start brewing Makgeolli? And what resources did I need to start with in the first place? That's probably, that's an important question. But the biggest question is, why do I continue to brew Makgeolli? That's really what I want to try to provide some answers to that question. So my goal today is that I'm going to share my Makgeolli journey with you to generate discussion on how to promote Suul. So that's what we'll do today. So first of all, who am I? Well, for the past 6 years, I've been brewing rustic Asian rice wines as a hobby. And I've brewed more than 150 batches. And the goal of my brewing is to enjoy what I brew and to share it with friends. So simple goal, not commercial, just hobbyist viewpoint. That's what I've been doing for the past 6 years. And I have a YouTube channel. I publish a video every week, more than 300 videos so far. And the goal of my YouTube channel, is that I want viewers to enjoy drinking rice wine, and I want them to brew their own. One side note is that I have no family connection to Korea. I'm doing this, so maybe that makes some of the answers to these questions more interesting. I don't have any family connection to Korea, but I am brewing Korean alcohol. So let's find out why. So this is thumbnail of my first video on YouTube, and it's the first time I made Makgeolli 6 years ago. Yeah, that's me. So what have I brewed? So just trying to establish some credibility here that I have brewed quite a few things. I like experimenting. I like trying different recipes, different methods, techniques. These are thumbnails from my videos to give you some idea of the range of things that I've tried over the years. I've tried quite a number of recipes. So first of all, I want to show you brewing methods. I've tried multi-stage recipes, different ways to prepare the rice, and yeah, lots of things to try there. Just to give you some other ideas of what kinds of things I brew. I've also brewed with fruit. That's a fun thing to do. People always seem to like that. So these are some thumbnails from my brewing rice wine with fruit. And flavored makgeollis, yeah, also a popular thing to do. Flavored with flowers, herbs, spices. Once again, a lot of things are possible, and I've tried a few of them, and that's fun as well. And I've tried alternate starches, and that can be challenging. Some of these worked, and some of them did not. So yeah, so this is to give you some idea of the kinds of things I've experimented with and try to show other people on my YouTube channel. I have also made my own nuruk on several occasions, and that's one of the things that I was especially worried about the process. How could I do it properly? Would my nuruk work in the end? What kind of problems would I run into? And once I did it, I was able to brew with it, so that counts as a success for me. But once again, there's a lot of things to learn in this area, and I've just done it a few times, but that was another fun thing I did. And I like talking about makgeolli. I talk about makgeolli on my channel a lot, and and I review commercial alcohols. When I get a chance to drink some commercial makgeolli, well, I review it. So that gives you some idea of what I do. But why did I start brewing makgeolli in the first place? Why did I start? So what was my motivation? So I'm going to describe here why I wanted to brew makgeolli. Okay, there were three basic, very simple things that had happened to get that motivation in the first place. I needed awareness, curiosity, and there was some necessity for brewing. So for awareness, well, I just went on vacation in Seoul. I read a guidebook to prepare, and I find out that makgeolli exists. So from that's what it took for me to be aware that makgeolli exists. And once I'm in Korea, I search for makgeolli, I drink it, and I enjoy it. So that's the curiosity. And the necessity was that I returned home and I can't buy makgeolli. It's not where I live. I can't buy makgeolli. So if I want it, I have to make it myself. So that's necessity drove that. That was my motivation for brewing makgeolli in the first place. So now I'm motivated. Now I want to brew makgeolli myself. But what resources did I need in order to do that? And once again, there's three basic categories of resources that I needed. I needed knowledge, I needed equipment, and I needed ingredients. So, well, starting with the knowledge, could I find a recipe on the internet? And I was able to. It's not too easy to find English language recipes for makgeolli, but there were a few, and they were so helpful. I really want to thank these individuals who shared all this knowledge on the internet and made my initial brewing possible. For example, the primer, a primer on brewing makgeolli, co-authored by Becca Baldwin, and various blogs that described brewing makgeolli, including blog from Julia Mellor that eventually became the Suul Company, and Brian Romansky's blog, Moon and Lion Brewing, and another blog, Makgeolli Lab, and the famous YouTuber Makgeolli. I brewed Makgeolli. So I tried to learn from these sources, and they gave me the knowledge and the confidence to brew Makgeolli myself. Okay, so now I figured I had the knowledge I needed. What about the equipment and the ingredients? Well, it turned out I have almost everything I need in the kitchen already. So that's really great. I had to buy a brewing container, and I had to buy some cheesecloth, but everything else I had enough to do what I needed to do. And the hardest ingredient to find, of course, was the Nuruk. But I did find that at H Mart, and there I am with my first package of Nuruk. So it has a relatively low barrier to entry, especially compared with beer brewing. So so I had the equipment and ingredients available to me. Just want to emphasize that I did take a selfie with my first package of Nuruk before I had ever brewed anything. I guess I was very confident that I was going to be able to do this, or I was very excited at the possibility. And little did I know that I'd still be brewing Makgeolli years later. So I was very happy to get my first package of Nuruk from H Mart. Okay, but let's get to the core of this presentation. Why do I continue to brew Makgeolli? So that's why I started. But why have I could have just done it a few times and then quit. Why do I continue to brew Makgeolli? So these are what I want to list now are all the positive characteristics of Makgeolli brewing. What are the attributes of brewing Makgeolli that provide the reasons for why I continue to brew Makgeolli now? And these are the 9 concepts I decided to list here, and I'll go over them one by one. They're in no particular order. They're all important to me. The first one is the first concept. The first characteristic is fresh. Well, Makgeolli is fresh. It feels nutritious and healthy, and I enjoy the fresh, vibrant flavor. Well, that's a good reason. But it's not just that. There are many other characteristics, and one of the most important ones, I think, is that it is handmade. This is a very physical process. It involves all 5 senses. You have to observe it carefully. You have to listen to the bubbling. You have to appreciate the aroma, and you have to realize the texture when you're stirring it or mixing it by hand. So you really use all of your senses to appreciate, to make Makgeolli. You need to use all of your senses, and it's something that's unique to you. That's very satisfying. Something is handmade. You have a pride of craftsmanship because you made it yourself and you value what you make. That's a big reason why I continue to brew Makgeolli. Another reason is that the recipe is robust. It's reliable. It's not fussy. It does not require perfect ingredients or perfect technique or perfect conditions. Things can be suboptimal, and you can still get a good result. You can get good Makgeolli out of it. Maybe it's not the best Makgeolli in the world, but you made it yourself, and despite not having the ideal conditions, you still get a result out of it. You still have alcohol, tasty. So that's a robust recipe. I think that's really important characteristic. Another great characteristic is that it's quick. You can complete fermentation in a week or 2. So that's a rapid cycle of brewing and learning. So you get a chance to feed back what you learn into the next batch, and you're not waiting a year to figure that out. Just a few weeks, you can brew something else and make changes to the next batch you brew. So that's I think that's super valuable. It gives you're always moving forward. So I like that characteristic a lot. And of course, as many other of the presenters have mentioned today, the ingredients are simple. There's only 3 required ingredients. And then the equipment, especially for home brewing, can be very basic. Like I said before, low barrier to entry. Now, despite this being simple, the recipe for makgeolli in some ways is simple. It is also deep. There are many different recipes. There are many techniques and flavors you can get out of just rice, and the variation of the ratios and temperature and preparation methods, multi-stage recipes. There's never-ending variation. There's always more to learn. So that's a very attractive characteristic. So simple yet deep. And makgeolli is meaningful. Makgeolli has cultural weight. It's a serious tradition, and these fermentation methods are part of the heritage of humanity. Fermentation and brewing makgeolli in particular is something that lets people survive. So this is something very serious, and it feels good to be doing something that has meaning. Now, another characteristic I like to mention here is that makgeolli is magical. Now, even though of course I understand the scientific reasoning for how fermentation and the words simultaneous saccharification and fermentation. So I know that's what's happening. Yet the actual process is there are so many variables, and the actual process is complex, and you're working with other organisms, so it's not really straightforward, and it's quite mysterious what exactly you get in the end, and that's why I say this is a sense of magic, and that's a good characteristic. And another characteristic I like is the last one I'm listing here is the cooperative nature of brewing makgeolli. So of course, when you're brewing, you are collaborating with microbes for a successful brew. And also I'm collaborating with my fellow brewers in the brewing community. And that's a very important thing. And I want to expand on this now. I started off without knowing any other brewers. I just did it by myself with those resources on the internet. But as time went on, I did meet other brewers, including many of the people that inspired me in the first place. You'll see Becca Baldwin, Julia Miller, and Anne Monchi here. These are thumbnails of other videos I've put on my YouTube channel, and so these are my fellow brewers in the brewing community. And they're a big part of why I continue to brew makgeolli today. That is especially important. So here's the whole array of reasons here. So many reasons to brew makgeolli, and I really want to solicit some feedback here. If you have any ideas about I should best promote Suul, how should I encourage others to enjoy and brew makgeolli, please let me know. I'll give you my contact information. Now this was my goal, that I'm sharing my makgeolli journey with you to generate discussion on how to promote Suul. So here's my contact information, and here's some links for the reference material that got me started in the first place. So I very much appreciate you listening today. So thank you very much. And that was my presentation at the World Suul Conference this year. And I thank you for listening to this recreation of that presentation. And like I said, if you have any suggestions on what I should cover next, I want to know what you're interested in. So thank you for watching.